What up, everyone? Welcome back to Week by Week. And man, does it feel good to say that football is officially back. We've had preseason football going on. It feels so good to say that football's back. So let me hear about your Bears. You got any takeaways, players? Let me hear it.
I'm going to start off with the players. I'm going to start off with Alec Ogletree. Now, I believe he had one TFL, 4 tackles, but, man, he was just all over the place. There was one play he did give up a play to Mike Gesicki for a good bit of yards, but, I mean, the dude was all over the place. He was a hell of a pickup. He's going to be hell of depth for the linebacking group. And another player is, who was he? Mike Pennell, who actually had 1 sack, I believe, and he had a lot of quarterback pressures in the fourth quarter, like a ton. Another one, Duke Shelley, he made some plays, had, I think, 2 passing breakups, I believe. And so the last player I really want to mention that stuck out is Travis Gibson. Now, he was our 4th or 5th round pick last year, who actually played in college, but we transferred him out to outside linebacker. And, last year didn't really do much, didn't really play. But he came in the preseason game with a lot of pressure, stopping the run. I was really impressed. And, I was impressed by the defense as a whole. And same goes with the offensive line. No sacks given up, hardly any pressures. The run game was on point. I think Artavis Pierce was like 5 carries for 50 yards, and Khalil Herbert was like 6 for 39. So, yeah, we had a good run game. And I'm not really going to mention Justin Fields just yet because we're going to talk about him here in a bit.
So, of course, I did not get to watch the Tennessee game, unfortunately. I was at work, but I have done my research on it. So they held the Falcons to 3 points, which, of course, it's preseason. Take from that what you want. I don't think Kyle Pitts played. Of course, no Matt Ryan, no Calvin Ridley, no none of that. So, but there are some positive takeaways from this game for sure. Logan Woodside looked very solid as a backup, 10 for 15, 84 yards and a touchdown. The team this year, we drafted Monty Rice in the 3rd round, which is a pick that I love with, Jayon Brown's future at the moment being undecided with the team because of his injury last year, and I just don't know how he's going to turn out. So, and of course last year, Tennessee's pass rush was terrible. One of the worst in the league, if not actually the worst. They were bottom 3.
I think they were 28th in stat was.
So, we drafted Rashad Weaver in the 4th round. Of course, we did pick up, Bud Dupree in free agency, which I like, but I think we overpaid him, Tad. But we drafted Rashad Weaver in the 4th round. I'm pretty sure he's one of the because Pitt has been producing a bunch of great D linemen, and I'm pretty sure he's that guy, or he's one of those. Of course, he'll be playing outside linebacker in Tennessee's 3-4, but. So Rashad Weaver, talk about him. He had 3 tackles, 2 of which were for loss, 1.5 sacks, 2 QB hits, and had a pass deflection. And then another guy, Wyatt Ray, was really good. 7 tackles, including a tackle for loss, a sack and a half, and 2 quarterback hits. And then David Long, who is another great backup guy that I love, out of West Virginia, actually. Loved him at West Virginia. Love him here in Tennessee. David Long had 2 tackles, pick, and a pass deflection. He looked very, very good. So those are my takeaways. Of course, held him to 3 points, and it looks like we finally have a kicker, Tucker Mccain. Fuck you, Goskowski. I don't miss you at all.
Y'all didn't resign him, did y'all?
No, he's a free agent.
Oh, actually, I got one more dude I forgot to mention. And that's Rodney Adams. He was actually a high-round pick a few years ago. Then he actually retired to pursue a college degree, I believe, and then he wanted to come back to the NFL. And today he had 4 receptions for 57 yards. And even in training camp, him and Justin Fields have had this connection, and it's crazy. And I actually have him making the 53-man roster, which may be a surprise to some people, but I'll get more to that in the 53-man predictions.
So, one thing I do want to talk about as far as training camp goes, at least for my Titans fans, I can't really speak for other teams, but So one guy that has stuck out to me is Des Fitzpatrick, and not in a good way actually. Apparently Tennessee was really high on him, and according to Vrabel, Fitzpatrick, in Vrabel's words, needs to show a lot more. Ray Duns looked very, very good actually. Ray Duns, I don't think he let anyone get past him, to my knowledge. Like I said, I was not able to watch it, and highlights can only show you so much. And Ray Duns had a questionable training camp, so to see him come out in an actual NFL setting and be good is very, very promising. But I think that's really all I'm gonna say about the Titans as far as preseason goes. We'll see what happens. I think we play the Bears in week 3. I think actually.
We do. August 28th at 1.
Week 3. And a fun fact, actually, Tennessee opens up the season at the Cardinals September 12th, which is my birthday. Fun fact. So, we got some grades. We're going to grade. We were going to grade the top 5 quarterbacks, but unfortunately, Trey Lance's his every snap film is not on YouTube. So
yeah, and I could not find the game to save my life.
We sat here right before we recorded, and we were watching the each of the rookie quarterback snaps. I heard completely unrelated, and he's not a rookie, but I heard Jordan Love actually did okay.
I think he had 127 and a touchdown on like 7 per 9.
Yeah, I heard he wasn't bad at all. So I mean, there's Bro,
I hope he sucks dick.
Dude, if Jordan Love is the next fucking great Packers quarterback, they're literally doing some fucking voodoo magic shit up in Green Bay.
I'm gonna be so fed up. Oh my god, bro, just don't even say that. I mean, shit.
They have to be the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, right? Have to be.
Probably, yeah.
Have to be.
I mean, them in San Francisco.
True, I didn't even think about San Francisco.
Steve Young, Joe Montana.
Yeah, but I feel like, but Green Bay also had a guy in the 50s and 60s that was really good. I cannot think of his name off the top of my head. Bart Starr, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. They've got to be the Mount Rushmore as far as NFL quarterbacks go. Got to be.
Fuck them.
But who would be third on that, or fourth? I mean,
that's a good question.
Favre, Rodgers, Bart Starr. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Jordan Love. But so can you actually? I'll let you talk Fields first.
Fields. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the negatives. Now, after late in the second quarter, I didn't see any negatives, and I think you would agree. I mean, dude was all over the place, but I would say his first 6 throws, he really struggled. He actually fumbled the ball once. He dropped a snap, which was luckily recovered by Khalil Herbert. But man, after those mistakes, he just learned from them, and he's so quick with reading the field. And that's one thing I think he separates himself from these other quarterbacks is he can scan the field so much quicker, just based on their tape today. And but like I said, he rolls out. There was actually the crossbody fake he had. He was actually looking at the tight end that rolled out, looked at him, but threw it cross-body to the receiver that was 10 yards up the field. I mean, it was beautiful. It was fucking magic. It was like a Patrick Mahomes throw. Actually, I wouldn't say that, but, great game. He had a huge touchdown to Jesse James, I think, for 30 yards. You think that's right?
It's probably about 30 yards, yeah.
About 30 yards. I mean, yeah, the dude was wide open, but, I mean, he saw him instantly.
And he was rolling out the opposite direction.
Yeah, rolling out the opposite direction. Scan the field. I mean, his eyes literally pointed in that direction. He just knew. And he just threw it. And that's just high IQ. I don't care what anyone says. That's high IQ. So, I'll say this now, even whenever we're grading them. Justin Fields, to me, had the best debut. Had the best.
I think Justin Fields was clear of everyone else, actually. I'm not saying that there wasn't some other guys that did, and it actually looked like Justin Fields might have the worst at first, but Fields definitely he picked it up. They were down 13-0 at one point. Fields. There was no situations that at least I could see from the base where he underthrew anyone or even overthrew anyone.
He almost had an overthrow to Demir Bird, but he caught it. So
To me, one thing I noticed about Fields always made the right read, it felt like. He was very, very patient in the pocket, and if it wasn't there, he took his yards. I loved Fields' debut. I really did. He which just could be both a positive and a negative. But on his rushing touchdown, he ran right into the defender, which he's willing to sacrifice his body, which, like I said, could be both a positive and a negative.
Yeah, he actually played with a broken rib in the Clemson game.
Yeah, and he fucking balled out.
Mm-hmm. But if you want me to, I can read off his stat line right now.
Yeah, read off his stat line real quick before we move on.
So he was 14 for 20, had 142 passing yards, 1 touchdown. And he also had 5 carries for 33 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown. So he was all over the place.
So,
I mean,
the next guy though that I want to hop into is Zach Wilson.
I don't think we gave a grade.
Oh, my grade for Fields was an A.
Mine was an A.
And I'll just go ahead and say it. He was my highest grade. There is a guy that is in a very close second, but Fields clearly best debut out of all the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
we're actually basing this just off their snaps, off their performances. It's almost like looking at film.
The film that we watched was all their snaps, and if you're curious, we paused. We were highlighting, open men if a pass was missed. So we may not be experts, but I like to think that we know what we're doing. So Zach Wilson. I'll go ahead and give my grade. I gave Zach Wilson a B+. I had 2 main problems with Zach Wilson. Number 1 is Zach Wilson. Well, actually, these probably can kind of coexist, so I'll say 1 main problem. Zach Wilson reads defenses way too quick.
He was a one-read quarterback, though.
It's like, one read. I mean, there were numerous times where he would force the ball to Tyler Kroft, and there would be a guy wide open over the top. I think he's just way too quick with his reactions, and I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It shows, and Zach Wilson has an insanely quick release. He has a cannon.
His release is my favorite out of all the quarterbacks.
I think that's my main criticism of Zach Wilson, though, is Zach Wilson, it's like he's seen one guy and he was set on it. That's who has to get the ball. And he had those 2 bad throws, which I thought were pretty bad. He had one really bad underthrow and then one really bad overthrow. And
one of them wasn't his fault. Tyler Kroft just busted his ass.
Kroft fell. Tyler Kroft slid and fell. But, I think Zach Wilson, honestly, Jets fans have, I was telling Tyler, if Zach Wilson doesn't have the best rookie year, if he throws high picks, over 15, 16, don't panic. There's no reason to panic. Zach Wilson is going to be fine. I'm telling you, and I still strongly stick by that. Zach Wilson is going to be fine. Zach Wilson is going to be an elite quarterback for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his stats were 6 for 9 for 63 yards. Obviously didn't play as much as Fields or as much as Mac Jones. But, 9 throws. We kind of just went off the 9 throws, so we're not trying to just bash him, which he actually was really good. It's just we kind of wish he would scan the field a little bit better.
That's my only criticism of Wilson.
That's only mine, too.
He's just way too quick with it. And sometimes that's not a bad thing, but
it's not.
As a rookie quarterback, inexperienced, especially coming from a college like BYU, not playing top-level competition, that's not a good thing.
No.
But, no, Zach Wilson definitely showed flashes, and I liked a lot of what I saw. It's just his reads.
Yeah, that's...
You just slow down a little bit. Trevor Lawrence. Oh, by the way, Zach Wilson's a B+. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, I gave him maybe a B+ also.
So, Trevor Lawrence, now, this grade is going to get shit on. I can go ahead and tell you. I gave Trevor Lawrence a C.
I gave him a C+.
Now, I don't think, though, that it was 100% Trevor Lawrence's fault. That O-line was dog shit.
I did not like the play calling either.
I did not.
I will say that right now.
I did not like the play calling. There were so many screen passes to Chenault. Same kind of the same thing with Zach Wilson. I hated his reads. I hated them. Mm-hmm. He did not look good under pressure either. He never really scrambled out.
He held the ball too long. He looked like a Joe Flacco playing for the Broncos.
Exactly. No, seriously, he held the ball too long. He couldn't get rid of it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, and once again, Jaguar fans, don't panic. There's no reason to panic. It's preseason. It's been one
He
game.
threw 9 balls.
Trevor Lawrence, once again, will be fine. But,
Yeah.
So don't think that by us grading them and, pointing out cons, that doesn't mean that we think that they're bad players. It has nothing to do with that. It's just what we notice. And of course, we're not NFL quarterbacks, but what we see from a fan's eye, what they think that they can fix.
Yeah, we go through the 9 throws they made, and it's pretty much just watching film for those 9 plays. Now, in my opinion, Trevor Lawrence is the most complete quarterback in this draft class. My only issue
Trevor Lawrence, to me, is one of the most complete quarterbacks we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, coming into the draft, man, he is. I mean, you maybe could even say better than Andrew Luck.
There is no better quarterback prospect than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that case 100%. But there was one big issue I had with him. He's not a big guy. I mean, what is he, 6'2", 6'3", kind of slim?
Trevor Lawrence is 6'6".
Shit. 6'6", my bad. I knew he was tall.
He's skinny. No, I get what you're saying.
He's skinny.
He's skinny.
I wish he would use his legs.
Oh, and Trevor Lawrence is fast.
I know.
Like numerous times at Clemson. Trevor Lawrence is fast.
I just wish he would roll out.
Bro, but I think it goes back to like I was telling you when we were watching Fields' film. I don't think Fields looks 6'3", 225.
I know he's 6'3", and I know he's in the 215 through 225 range.
I
actually
think
searched
Fields looks
now.
smaller than that, but I mean, it's also a zoomed out camera, and but
You found out right now.
I wasn't too crazy impressed by Lawrence. His
6'3", 227.
Damn. Same thing. My main 2 cons about Trevor Lawrence is he held the ball too long and his reads.
I agree.
But he's a rookie quarterback. You can't expect him to make the right read every time.
I still think he's going to be a superstar in this league.
Oh, 100%. I don't know if I said it, but I gave Trevor Lawrence a C.
I gave him a C+. Oh, he was 6 for 9 for 71 yards. Should I just read off their stat line before we get into it?
Yeah. So read off Mac Jones.
Okay, so he was 13 for 19, 87 yards, and that's it.
Man, you say your grade for Mac Jones first.
I gave him a C.
I gave him a D.
Oh.
Listen, I'm actually a believer in Mac Jones. And if you watch the podcast or if you watch my main channel, and Tyler knows this, I shit on Alabama quarterbacks a lot. Lot. But I like Mac Jones. I am a Mac Jones believer. I think Mac Jones is different than other Alabama quarterbacks. I think the thing with Mac Jones is Mac Jones was just, and being in the Patriots system, I wouldn't expect anything different. Mac Jones just played a really safe ball game.
Too safe.
Too safe. That honestly, that's my only con. He played too safe.
He's just always taking the checkdowns, playing way too safe. He's got a dude open like right over the middle, and he still just checks it down.
Especially
I mean, it's not like pressure's all over him.
With that receiving core, he should be used to taking the damn shots.
Yeah. So I will say this about Mac Jones: I like him, but I don't think his ceiling's too high. If that makes sense. I don't think
New England is going to make him look better than he is.
I think he's going to be like a Kirk Cousins type guy.
That may be a bold take, but I think New England's going to make him look better than he is.
I'm not comparing him to Kirk Cousins, but I think he's going to be like at that level of Kirk Cousins. Like he'll be a top 10 quarterback sometimes, but he'll also be like a really not good quarterback sometimes. And he's not mobile. He's just. The thing with Mac Jones, you're going to get accuracy and you're going to get efficiency.
I think Mac Jones is going to be a guy that he knows what plays it takes to win.
Yeah. So I don't think he's going to be flashy.
Alex Smith. I think Alex Smith is a perfect comparison.
Yeah, Alex Smith or Kirk Cousins.
To me, Alex Smith, Alex Smith just knew what it took to win. I mean, it's not flashy. He may not always take the deep shot, but he's going to win you some games.
I'll tell you another guy, too, is Viking Case Keenum. Like when he played for the Vikings that one season.
Oh, yeah.
And was actually pretty good. I think that's a good comparison as well.
Solid.
I think you can win games with Mac Jones, but I don't think he's going to be on the level of a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen changing your team the way they did.
I don't think Mac Jones. I don't know. Depending on how New England builds up this talent around him, Mac Jones could be a Super Bowl quarterback just because it's New England.
They need receivers, though. They need receivers.
Receiving core is not good at all.
They had Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, N'Keal Harry, and I mean they're not great. They're solid.
I'm still a N'Keal Harry believer. I am.
I am too. I like him.
He's been hurt. I mean, he's been hurt his whole fucking career. I'm still a N'Keal Harry believer. I love N'Keal Harry. Nelson Aguilar just decided one day he was going to be able to catch.
Do you hear what you just called him?
No.
Algahor.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Eat my ass. You thought Trevor Lawrence was like 6'1".
Bro, I said 6'3".
Shut up.
Okay.
Nelson Aguilar. Is that better?
Aguilar.
Shut up. He just decided, he literally just woke up one morning and decided, like, all right, I can catch now.
Yeah.
No, he did.
I know. He was good for Vegas, but man, for Philly, he just dropped so many balls.
Bro really just woke up one morning and was like, all right, I can catch. But,
well, everybody, there's your laugh for the podcast.
Yeah. What was it you said last podcast that was in the NFC?
Oh my God! So I think I did it like 15 minutes before we recorded, and I was like really trying to think of a third name to put for offensive NFC Rookie of the Year, and for some reason I thought of Elijah Moore, and I forgot. Well, I didn't forget he went to the Jets.
You said Elijah Moore, and I was like, in the NFC?
Yeah, well, there's your laugh for the last podcast.
God, well, I mean, I did it with Herbert.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I was. Oh my God! All right, but seriously. So, yeah, but Mac Jones not too mobile. I don't know. I think he's just gonna be a solid quarterback.
Yeah, that's my opinion. I think he'll be solid. Top 14 in the league.
So, yeah, I think that's fair. So, what we got though mainly for this episode is our 53-man roster predictions for the Titans and the Bears. Now,
do you want to go over Trey Lance, or do you just want to talk about it later?
Let's mention Trey Lance next podcast. We couldn't find the Trey Lance film. You can read off his stats if you want.
So, first off, I just want to talk about the play he had. Was an 81-yard touchdown? Was it that? Was it 81 yards?
Yeah, it was 80 yards, I think.
It was a hell of a bomb. But looking at these stats, right, 5 for 14, 128 yards, and 1 touchdown. My only problem is the 5 for 14.
What conference is North Dakota State in? Do you know? That's a random question. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to know that, but
I'm not much of a college guy. I can look it up.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Your college knowledge is about the same as mine, so I got it.
All right.
North Dakota State football.
Yeah, when it comes to college, I usually just look into the guys that are about to be drafted. Watch a lot of film on them.
See, that's what I do. Bro, they may be in the FCS. Maybe.
I think that sounds... Yeah, it is, because I remember watching a Trey Lance thing.
They are FCS?
Yeah. I actually remember watching a video. Hold on.
Damn. Yeah, so, I mean, he's kind of like in the same situation as, like, with Zach Wilson. Like, not crazy good. Which, I mean, hell, North Dakota State was Division II up until, like, 1995, I think.
Yeah.
So there's your fun fact for the podcast. North Dakota State was Division II until the 90s. I'm just not sure when. But I mean, yeah, we can't really say too much about Trey Lance, and I'm not going to speak on it unless I know about it. So how do we want to do these 53-man roster predictions?
I say we just read off the names. If we want to talk about somebody, we talk about somebody.
You want to go first or me?
That's up to you. I guess you can go.
All right, so I'll do offense, then you can. Nah, actually, we'll just go all together. Okay, so, so I'm gonna start off with offense, and we're just gonna break it down by position. So quarterback, running back, you get the idea.
Yeah.
So, For my quarterbacks, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Tannehill and Logan Woodside. Logan Woodside's been the backup now for 3
Like
years.
4 years, isn't
3
it?
years, I want to say. It was Mariota and Gabbert, and then we got Tannehill. Then Mariota backed Tannehill up. 2 years, and then Logan Woodside's backed up Tannehill since. Yeah, okay, that's right. It'll be 2 years after this year, actually. So Logan Woodside's only been the backup for a season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So this will be Logan Woodside's second season backing up, I think. Running backs, Derrick Henry, Darrington Evans. I do look for Jeremy McNicholas to get cut. I know a lot of Titans fans like him, but apparently he hadn't been too good in training camp. And then for fullback, Kerry Blossingame. He's been their fullback for the last 3 years. None's going to change. Tight end, I got Anthony Ferkshire, Geoff Swaim, and Tommy Hudson. I actually don't know too much about Tommy Hudson at all. Luke Stalker got signed, I think, but I actually already heard rumors that they're going to cut him. I don't know.
We signed him to when you're doing, then cut him a few days later.
I heard that he was going to get cut. I don't think he's been too good. I could be wrong. He may make it. He'll probably make it over like Tommy Hudson. I don't know too much about Tommy Hudson. And then the receivers, I got, of course, AJ and Julio. Nah, they're going to cut Julio. I'm kidding. Nah. But AJ and Julio, Josh Reynolds, Marcus Johnson, Chester Rogers, Racey McMath, who was very good in the preseason, and Des Fitzpatrick. Special teams.
Yeah.
What's up?
You have one more receiver than me.
One more.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure out where we're like not even at. Because I might either be under or over 53 just a little bit, because it's really hard. It's hard from a fan perspective to predict like all these guys that you may not know too much about. So I very well could be over just a little bit.
I counted mine and made sure I have 53. I made sure.
I might be over. I did mine right before work, and I was kind of in a hurry. So honestly, I may have even said a couple guys that have been cut, and I just haven't. But special teams, Tucker McCann, he balled out last night. He had a 26 and a 42, and he's looked really good in camp. And then, of course, longtime punter Brett Kern. What's up?
So, okay, this is a weird question. I'm going to bring Madden into this for a second. Mm-hmm. So, Tucker McCann in Madden has a hell of a leg. Is that the case in real life?
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about him.
Yeah, no, he hit a couple of, he was hitting 50s, consistently in camp.
Okay. Because I know Madden gave him, a 96 leg strength or kick strength, power.
And then I also got Morgan Cox making the roster. And then offensive line, Taylor Lewan, of course, longtime tackle, returning from an ACL tear, though. Don't know how good he's going to be. Roger Saffold, Ben Jones, Nate Davis, who I love. I think Nate Davis, he's gotten better every year, and I think he is slowly progressing to be one of the better guards in the NFL. Tyson Brillo, who was a backup last year. Kendall Lamb, who I love. He's been very good in training camps. Everyone loves Kendall Lamb. David Questonberry, another guy who was a backup last year. Of course, Dylan Raduns, the rookie. And then Aaron Brewer, who I do not know too much about. I've just read about him a little bit in training camps. So, moving over to the defense. So I got, of course, Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Archery, Tyre Tart, Laurel Murchison, who I don't know too much about again. Of course, I got to do my research on a bunch of these guys, and I will, before the season starts. Naquan Jones, not Daquan Jones, Naquan Jones. And then Trevon Cooley. I'm pretty sure Trevon Cooley, I think he's a nose guy, which we have essentially 3 nose tackles on the D-line right now. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how I'm feeling about that. Then, of course, linebacking core, Jayon Brown, or middle linebacker, excuse me. Jayon Brown, Rashawn Evans, David Long, and Monty Rice. And then, as far as our edge rushers go, Bud Dupree and Harold Landry, of course. Derek Robertson. I like Derek Robertson a lot. Derek Robertson has looked pretty good in training camps, at least according to Jim Wyatt on Twitter. And then John Simon, who we just traded for or signed. I don't know did we trade for him or sign him? Do you know?
Wait, who is it?
John Simon, the dude from the Patriots.
Oh, you signed him.
We did sign him.
Yeah.
Rashad Weaver, who I've talked about enough this podcast, and then Olai Adeniyi. Yeah, that's his name. Olai Adeniyi. And then, of course, corner, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Christian Fulton, Chris Jackson, Caleb Farley, Elijah Molden, who's a rookie, and then Breon Borders, who's been a backup for about 3 years now, finally starting to get some reps. And then Kevin Byard in safety, Kevin Byard, Amani Hooker, and by the way, Amani Hooker is going to take a huge jump this year. Kenny Vaccaro was no better than Amani Hooker. Kenny Vaccaro, nah.
He's pretty average, wasn't he?
He was average. He's no better than Amani Hooker. I love Amani Hooker, and I think he's gonna take a big jump this year. Of course, Teddrick Thompson, who we just traded for, and the Matthias Farley, who was a very, very late round pick from us. I want to say 6th or 7th round pick. I don't think he's even got too many reps in training camp, so I really don't know how good he's been. But that is my 53-man roster prediction. So, Titans fans, if you're watching this, let me know what you think. So, let me hear your Bears roster prediction.
All right, so we're going to start off with the quarterback. I got 3 guys. Kind of wish one of them wasn't there. But Andy Dalton.
Which one do you wish wasn't there?
Nick Foles. We can't cut him because of the money, and no team will trade for him. So, he's pretty much guaranteed to make the team unless he gets traded. So, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, Nick Foles. Not really much to say there. They're predicting Andy Dalton to start off the year, which I'm okay with if they really think Fields isn't ready. And
I don't know. I think Fields might be ready.
I don't want to say so much because it was just a preseason game. He was playing against second, third finger.
I don't want to overreact, but I think Fields may be ready.
It's possible. I don't know. But moving on to the running backs, I actually got 4. David Montgomery, Damian Williams, Tariq Cohen, and Khalil Herbert. Now, I will say this. If Tariq Cohen doesn't, because I don't think he'll be back to, week 8. Because he's actually had a hard time recovering from it. I actually think that we would keep Jordan Lucas. I'll get to here in a bit. That's if Tariq Cohen doesn't play week 1. Now, wide receivers.
Wait, can you repeat your running backs? Hold on. I didn't hear a guy that I thought would make it.
I had David Montgomery, Damian Williams, Tariq Cohen, and Khalil Herbert.
Okay. For some reason, I didn't hear Khalil Herbert, and I was about to say.
Yeah, my opinion, I think Khalil Herbert's mainly just a special teams guy this year, maybe in some gadget plays.
Yeah.
But then, as next year and the year after, he kind of just progresses a little bit.
I love the Damian Williams signing for y'all, by the way.
I do too. I will say this. I love Montgomery.
We didn't even talk about Lane Johnson. How do you feel about that, real quick? Just real quick. How do you feel about that?
Lane Johnson. Wait. Lane Johnson.
Y'all signed Lane Johnson today.
Wait, we did? No, that was Jason Peters.
Oh, God. Jason Peters. My bad.
I was so confused.
My bad. I got him confused.
But, yeah, I'll get to him whenever I get to the offensive line.
All right. My bad.
Oh, you're cool. Wide receivers I had Allen Robinson, obviously, Darnell Mooney. Now, this guy I think will take the slot spot, and that's Damiere Byrd. Really been showing out at training camp. I actually predicted Marquise Goodwin to win the spot, and he's actually been balling out too. But I think Damiere Byrd's better suited for a slot role. I think Marquise Goodwin's more of an outside.
One guy that I really like, and I don't know if y'all drafted him or signed him as an undrafted free agent, but Daz Newsome.
Yep.
Was he was a 6th or 7th round pick, wasn't he?
6th. He was a 6th. I absolutely love that draft.
I love Daz Newsome.
Another thing, too, is I really didn't see Daz Newsome on the field much today. And I don't know if it's where he broke his collarbone. Apparently, he's perfectly healthy now, but I don't know if it was a protocol thing, or a safety thing. So, I don't know, but that kind of did worry me a little bit. I saw him in the very last play of the game.
Wow.
And that was it. That was it. But yeah, speaking of Desney, I have him making it, and I also have Rodney Adams, which, like I said, high round pick. He retired to go pursue a college degree, and then he wanted to come back. And he's been balling out in training camp. Today he had 4 receptions for 54 yards. I think he makes the team over Javon Wims, who, by the way, let's just talk about this one play. So I called Logan laughing my ass off. And so the Bears lined up.
I seen it, by the way. I seen it on Twitter.
The Bears lined up, and this man Javon Wims just takes off and starts running around. I mean, just takes off.
I seen it on Twitter.
I lost it. I just started laughing my ass off. But yeah, I don't have him making the team. Or same with Riley Ridley. He was a 4th round pick a couple years ago.
Make it?
He's barely been able to touch the field the last 2 years. My dad, who's actually a really big Bears fan with me, and I know he watched these. I know he was really high. He was really high on Ridley. I'm personally not. I know he was a bigger fan than me at the time whenever they drafted him. But all I've heard is just inconsistency. That's all I've heard, and that's what I'm going to go off of. So I don't have him making the team either. Moving on to tight end, I have us taking 3. Now, I don't have us carrying a fullback, but I do think one of these tight ends will slide over to fullback because we don't run a lot of fullback. We really don't. It's mainly just 2 tight end sets.
See, Tennessee uses their fullback. We use ours.
Yeah, we really don't. And if
Boston game got some good carries last year.
Now, I think there was a few plays we put Ryan Nall in at fullback, but I think you could just put in a Jesse James who's a veteran that can block. I think you just put him in at fullback, and he'll be just fine for rushing up the middle or something. You'll probably agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, Cole Kmet, Jimmy Graham, Jesse James. I absolutely love the Jesse James signing. I think he's great for blocking. He can come in and catch some balls because, let's be honest, Jimmy Graham cannot block. He cannot block.
No, he can't.
But he's a hell of a red zone guy. He had 8 touchdowns last year. Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we signed him to a 2-year, $16 million deal, which I know it's a lot, but I kind of like it for Cole Kmet's sake because they have such a great bond together.
I like that for Field's sake, too, because that's a big red zone target.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't release him, so save that money. But moving on to offensive linemen. So, my starters is going to go from left tackle to right tackle when I say these names. So, Tevin Jenkins at left tackle, which really worries me because he hasn't had a single rep in training camp because of his back injury, and it's really worrying me. So, I don't know what's going on with him. I'll be honest. I think the right thing to do is put Jenkins over at right tackle where he's naturally played at almost his whole career. He has played some left tackle, but I think he has 31 starts at right compared to 7 at left. And then maybe slide Jason Peters over to left tackle. I know Peters primarily plays right, but let's be honest. Would you rather have Peters or Ifedi starting?
Honestly,
I think I'd rather have Peters.
Probably Peters, yeah.
I would think Peters, but he did struggle last year.
Johnson?
I don't know.
I guess
I was so confused.
Eagles tackles, but
I thought you meant one of the players from the Bears game, the Dolphins.
No,
I don't know why I thought of that.
Keep talking.
All right. Well, left guard, Cody White here, obvious one. He's a really solid player. Now, center, Bears fans agree and disagree on this guy. I know me and you both love him. That's Sam Mustipher.
Bro, I actually talked. I know you brought up Madden. I'm gonna bring up Madden again. He's only a 60 in Madden 22.
64. He's a 64. He's the lowest on the team.
And when I actually on my main channel, I uploaded a Bears rebuild today for Madden 22, and I was like, Mustipher at a 64, and limited time last year, Mustipher was one of the better centers in the league.
Yeah, I would put him as a top
at least
13, 15 center. He was solid.
At least stat, yeah.
He was solid. I would have gave him a 76, 77.
I said a 71 or 72, but I would maybe give him a star development.
Yeah, I agree with that. But James Daniels at right guard, and then Jermaine Ifedi at right tackle. And now these are the backups, not really from left to right. But I have 4 backups. I have Jason Peters, who we just signed. Larry Borum, he's a tackle. But yeah, he's a tackle and guard hybrid. You know, he can play either or. Same with Alex Bars. He was solid last year, and Elijah Wilkinson, who came over from the Broncos. He's a okay player, solid backup.
Mm-hmm.
But moving over to the defense, and then I'll get to special teams. From left end to right end, we have Akeem Hicks at left end, Eddie Goldman at nose tackle, and Bilal Nichols at right end, who I'm really high on. I absolutely love Bilal Nichols. I believe he came in and gave us 5 sacks last year. He's a really solid player. You know, the backups, Angelo Blackson, who came over from Atlanta, I believe. Atlanta or Houston? It was either or.
Angelo Blackson came from Houston.
Okay, yeah, Houston. Kyrus Tonga, who was our 7th round pick, he was actually taking ramps with the starters today.
Ramps?
Reps. Shit. I live in West Virginia, okay, it happens. But Eddie Goldman actually didn't play today. He just came off the COVID protocol, so I guess I'm not too worried at all about that. But Kyrus Tonga actually, he didn't look bad. So I have him being the backup. And Mario Edwards Jr., who actually gave us 4 sacks last year. Really surprised a lot of people, including me. But he's actually on a 2-game suspension. So just for those 2 games, I'm going to have Mike Pinnell taking that spot. And I think once Mario Edwards returns, I think Mike Pinnell will just be like a practice squad guy. Just come in if something happens. But yeah, moving on to linebackers. Left outside linebackers, I have Robert Quinn. And where's he at? Jeremiah Tachu. And actually I have the UDFA out of Virginia Tech, or Virginia, either or. Charles Snowden, who I'm really high on. He actually played a little bit today.
I like him a lot.
I didn't see much of him today. I actually think he stuffed the run one play. But I'll have to watch him closely better next game against the Buffalo Bills that we play Mitch Trubisky in, which is going to be fun. I hope we kick his ass. But moving on, middle linebacker, Roquan Smith.
Shade at Chicago.
I know. You can't say we didn't give him a chance. 4 years.
That's more than a chance, yeah.
I know, and he just trashing us and shit. It's not like we wanted him to suck. We gave him, I know people have their opinions on Matt Nagy, but I think Matt Nagy's a really good offensive coordinator and a quarterback coach. I know he's not a quarterback coach, but I think he's really good at coaching quarterbacks. Because, he was the offensive coordinator for Kansas City when they drafted Patrick Mahomes. He made that call to draft him.
Did he really?
I wouldn't say it was all his call, but in his report for the top 3 quarterbacks, so, Trubisky, Watson, Mahomes, he said Mahomes would be a generational talent, Watson would be a consistent all-pro quarterback, and Mitch Trubisky would be a huge project.
He was damn right.
That is 100% right, and this was before they played a snap. You can't tell me something's up with that.
I could have told you, though, when Mahomes was in college, that Mahomes was going to at least be an all-pro quarterback.
See, I didn't really watch him much. I know I was really big on Watson because that was the year I started becoming a diehard. It was after the draft, the season started. That's really when I became one. I think he was same year or 2016.
I became a diehard. I've been a Titans fan, but I didn't really get into it until 2016-ish.
I was about 2017-ish. I've always been a fan, but diehard, looking into stuff. I was 2017. And then 2018, it just took off mega fan.
Yeah, that's how.
And,
that's exactly how mine was.
Yeah, but moving on, middle linebackers, I got Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, Christian Jones, and Alec Ogletree, who's had 6 interceptions in 4 practices, and was all over the field today. And that was a hell of a signing. He's just been everywhere. That's all I can really say about him. He's made play after play after play. That might be a steal of a signing, to be honest. But, moving to left outside linebacker. If I said left outside for Robert Quinn, he's right outside. My bad. So left outside, we got Khalil Mack, who, in my opinion, is still a top 2 defense player in the league.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. People are going to shit on.
I agree.
I know people are going to disagree, but that's just my opinion. And back up, we got Travis Gibson, the second-year player from – where was he from? I'm not going to embarrass myself, so I don't know the college, but like I said, played in college, transferred over to outside linebacker. Kind of struggled last year, but has really picked it up this year in training camp and even in today's game, which I mentioned earlier. And now we got corners. Jalen Johnson. So this is my opinion on Jalen Johnson. If he can stay healthy, he is a number one corner.
I think he's like if he stays healthy, I think he's like a mid-tier number one.
That's what I think. Maybe like who could I compare him to? Maybe like would you say Byron Jones is a tier 1 or like a high tier 2?
At this point, he's a high tier 2, but I think he can definitely be a tier 1.
Yeah. See, I really don't know how to compare him. So yeah, I think mid-tier 1 corner. I'm not saying he's going to come out and be like a top 3 corner, but a mid-tier corner if he can stay healthy. Those are the key words because, he played 12 games last year. But he was an absolute stud in those 12 games. But now I have Desmond Trufant, which I have no idea what to think of him. He can't stay healthy, and he absolutely sucked last year. But he played for the Lions. He has an excuse. So, I don't know. But I kind of think this next guy is going to take the number 2 corner spot, and that's Kendall Vildor. Another second-year player. He was a 4th or 5th round pick. I know I get him and Trev Gibson spots mixed up. But he's really been balling out in training camp, and I actually saw him make a tackle or 2 today in the game. And, yeah, all I've heard is just positives. And I pray that he can come in and take that number 2 corner spot. And my prediction for our slot corner is Duke Shelley, who I mentioned earlier as well. Had a great game, had 2 pass breakups, 4 or 5 tackles. Actually, I think he may have had a tackle for loss. I doubt that, but maybe. But, yeah, he's actually, I think he's another second-year player.
Who?
Off Duke Shelley, 2nd or 3rd.
I think he's second year. I think.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
Is it just me, or does Ryan Pace nail late-round picks?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, Darnell Mooney last year, just to name one. I know there's someone else I'm thinking of. Shit. Eddie Goldman was a 4th-round pick, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he absolutely nails the late-round picks, and that's, like, one of the only things I like about Ryan Pace besides drafting Justin Fields, which I know was all Matt Nagy's call. But,
yeah.
Moving on, we got Thomas Graham Jr., 6th-round pick this year out of Oregon. He actually led the Pac-12. Is that what conference they're in?
Yep.
Pac-12. He actually led them in pass breakups and interceptions and, like, the lowest completion percentage for catches allowed. But the reason he failed so far is because he opted out last year. He actually had an early 2nd-round grade on him in 2019. Now, I think that's a steal as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I absolutely love him as a player. I kind of think he takes that leap next year, though. I kind of think he just sits this one out. And another name, he's kind of new, but I was kind of going back and forth on the spot between, like, Artie Burns, Andre Roberson. He's kind of a...
Andre Roberson's an NBA player.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, him. But I have Tease Tabor making it. Now, you might know his name. Do you know Tease Tabor?
I actually don't.
He played for the Lions the past 2 years.
Yeah, I don't
More
know
of a depth piece. But we signed him, and he's actually been balling out in training camp from stuff that I've been reading. Mm-hmm. So I actually have him taking that last spot. He's a small, speedy guy. I think he's... I can't really tell if he's a slot or an outside guy.
If he's small and speedy, I would say slot, probably.
See, I don't know, though. Because his man skills and zones... actually, it's his zone skills. His zone skills are amazing. It's his man skills that are lacking because of his height. So, I don't know. I go back and forth on what he is. But safeties, free safety, I think he's going to have a bounce-back year. Eddie Jackson. Bojack changes over to number 4. I absolutely hate it because I have his jersey. Strong safety, Tashawn Gibson. He balled out last year. Well, I wouldn't say balled out, but he was really well above average. He may have even played better than Eddie Jackson. I absolutely love the duo. I think it's a hell of a safety duo. Deion Bush is the 3rd safety. He's kind of like a special teams guy. He actually... Oh, who had the interception today? I think he actually had the interception. Yeah, he did. It had an interception today. Ah, shit, never mind. It was the next guy I'm going to talk about. That was DeAndre Houston Carson. He had the interception. But both these guys are good special teamers, solid backups. DeAndre Houston-Carson actually closed the Panthers game and the Buccaneers game. So he came in clutch for 2 games last year and won it for us. So, yeah, love them both. Special teams, Cairo Santos balled out last year. Eddie Pinheiro was down with an injury. We put in Cairo Santos, which has struggled with other teams. I think he actually played for your Titans, didn't he?
He did.
And he sucked.
He was terrible.
Yeah. He actually played for the Bears a few years before, too. I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't.
He actually played for the Bears a few years ago. I think he played 1 game because Robbie Gould or something was hurt, or whoever our kicker was at the time.
Yeah, he was. He played for the Titans in 2019, and he was dog shit. We cut him.
Actually, when did Robbie Gould leave the Bears?
He played 5 games for the Titans. Hold on. He played 5 games for the Titans and was 44% on field goals.
Oh, my God.
And then he played for the Bears for 2 games in 2017, and then y'all cut him.
Okay, it was way after Robbie Gould did. Yeah, he sucked. He sucked.
He has been... Let's see. So he started 2 years for Kansas City.
He was actually really good with Kansas City, but then he got hurt.
3 years in Kansas City, actually, was good. Then Kansas City cut him in 2017. Y'all signed him, cut him. Rams signed him, cut him. Tampa Bay signed him, cut him. We signed him, cut him. And then now he kicked 94% for y'all on 30 of 32 this past year.
I might be going crazy, but I think he's a top 5 kicker in the league.
Cody Parkey.
Fuck you. I mean, is that an overstatement? Top 5 for Cairo Santos?
No, I mean, at least numbers-wise, stats-wise, he's definitely top 5.
Yeah. He actually nailed a 53-yarder today, right down the middle.
Good.
Absolutely loved it. I think he's going to be a stud again. Pat O'Donnell, our punter, who's been there for a couple years. Solid punter, nothing crazy. And then our long snapper, Patrick Scales. And that runs out the 53-man, but I'm actually going to say who I think will be our kick and punt returner. I think our kick returner will be Khalil Herbert. See, these I'm not positive on because we had like 4 different dudes do these today, and our special teams was awful.
That's why I didn't say anything, because we've had so many guys doing it. I truly don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm just going to make guesses. I don't know. I think Khalil Herbert will do the kick returning duties, and for punt returning, I'm going to go with Daz Newsome. That one's kind of up for grabs. It's like other guys like Marquise Goodwin with speed. Some other low-level guys, maybe. Maybe Tariq Cohen. Actually, no, I don't see him doing that at all after his ACL injury.
Not right now, at least.
I think Daz Newsome or Marquise Goodwin. Those are my 2 guys. But like I said, I have no idea because we had like 4 or 5 different guys doing today. So Khalil Herbert and Daz Newsome as kick and punt returner. Those are my guesses. And that rounds out my 53-man roster.
Well, I think with that being said, we just passed the 53-minute mark. So, unless there's anything else you want to throw in, I think this is a good time to call it quits on the podcast.
I just want to say I hope we make Mitch Trubisky look like a little bitch
and
next
on
week.
that note, the podcast is over. I hope you all enjoyed.